Welcome to Frank Bruno Law. I am Frank Bruno. I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney and a probate attorney in New York. If you need me, I can be reached at frankbrunolaw.com. Today's topic, who needs an estate plan? Well, I would tell you that everyone needs an estate plan. Why? Well, there are a few important reasons. I could highlight just a couple. Estate planning is for everyone because unfortunately, we all come with an expiration date. Your estate plan should have or can plan for a few milestone events. You might want to avoid or minimize probate. You could avoid or minimize. You'd like or should plan for how your belongings, your assets will get and be divided to your beneficiaries. You should try to minimize estate tax. If you have children, you should appoint a guardian for your children and for someone to govern their assets. What else? There's a lot to say, and I forgot the rest. No, but as you can see, those are some main points, right? Avoid probate, or make probate easier. Trust or will, we can do that. We could plan for your incapacity. Avoid probate or minimize probate, plan for incapacity, try to make the least tax implication, divide money for your beneficiaries, plan it out. And I think if I say anything else, I'd be repeating it. You know, I've heard of the term elder law, estate planning. I've heard elder care attorney, and I kind of see that the term gets merged to elder estate planning or elder law estate planning. Elder law estate planning, that's what I do here. And I even say it. Now, the reason I say it, and I don't really know why other people say it, is that the old model of estate planning was centered around how do you get your assets from the person that's alive upon their death to their family members or whoever they wanted to go to, right? Wherever they wanted to be. And the modern version of estate planning that I participate in, that I believe in, is elder law and elder law estate planning. And the reason for that is I'm concerned about the person, that's my client, during their life. Their life, first and foremost, what we have to do, and then how do we get it to the next generation. So in that context, I'm going to give you the 3 W's of estate planning and the 3 P's of estate planning times 2. 3 W's: who, what, when. We're going to add an H to that, and how. Who, what, when, and how. And the 3 P's: people, property, and planning. Or, depending on if you have a different mindset for P's, it would be protection, prevention, and peace of mind. So, I can't hit all of that today, but succinctly, briefly, I don't know if I can go that briefly, right? Sometimes I tell people that I try and make these videos into bite-sized nuggets. And that's to speak very plainly and let people listen and understand, and I enjoy this. But I really could speak on the topic, and many other attorneys could as well, for an hour or 2 hours, or even teach a law school level class for a year, right? So how can you break things down into 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes? This one's already 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. So elder law estate planning, I'll leave you with this, is how do you get the money that you have to who you want, when you want, what you have, to who you want, and how. All right? In further videos, we'll break that down. So anyone that has had loved ones depend on them, or they have been dependent on loved ones, whether you're of modest assets or quite rich, you do need an estate plan. So let me talk about it. Millions of people have gone through the process of losing a loved one and having to go to court. Millions of other people have avoided court and probate. You may have the appropriate financial wherewithal to require a trust or a substitute for a will. But whether you need a trust or a will, we can discuss what you might need, what you might want. You still need a plan, right? That's what makes the most sense to me. So a plan, an estate plan, is the thought and the interest behind accompanying legal documents. Basically, an estate plan is a series of legal documents that are used to determine how, what, where, and when. What you have, where it will go, and when. So, again, in the basics of estate planning, you need to know the distribution of your assets. When you pass away, who will receive and how will it get there, identifying what you have. A comprehensive plan, even if it's basic, should have the thought about what would you do if you were incapacitated? How do we guard against that? How do we protect you in advance? We protect you when you're well and healthy, so that should you become incapacitated, you have protection in place. An estate plan identifies your wishes. Right? I'll repeat it. What you want, where you want, when you want it, who you want it to go to. Manage your taxes if you have an estate that might have to pay New York state estate tax or federal tax, and help you and your family manage and control your assets. So I think that's a basic plan, and can help you achieve it. Last will and testament sufficient? Well, a last will and testament, or simply a will, is the first and foremost of your basic estate planning documents. Now, every adult, whether you have a small estate, an estate of great wealth, or something moderate, or something in between, you probably need a will. You should have a will. If you're a young adult, 18, 19, 20 years old, even if you don't have a spouse or children, if you have any sort of bank account, you probably need a will to prevent against problems. Listen, if you passed away, that's a big enough problem, but problems for your family members that have survived. So, even if you have great wealth, a will is probably part of your entire estate planning needs. Perhaps a will, a trust, advance directives, maybe some other instructions. But a will is where you start. Most people have heard of a will. Many people do not have a will, right? A will, unlike other legal documents, will be completely valid and legal when executed properly, but it does not take effect until your death. That's compared to contracts or even a trust. They take place during your life. The will can be legally valid, but the way it's designed, it doesn't take effect until after your death. A will could be contested. Most generally, they are not contested unless it can be demonstrated that there was something done incorrectly or something was amiss when the will was executed. Fraud, duress, gun to the head. Right? Other than that, mostly they are not, well, especially if they're written and drafted and fully observed the execution by an attorney. A pro se will, a will done by a person, has a greater chance to be contested. If you get a will done by an attorney, there is a presumption within the law that the will is valid. It does not mean a will cannot be contested. Wills are contested. So in the population of surrogate court litigation, will contests are a large part. It's just that in the totality of all wills, most are not. You don't want that to be your will that's contested. So when a will is created, it'll provide instructions about what you want to happen, where you want your money to go, and who you want it to go with. You're going to, if you have minor children, put in for care of your children. You're going to have distribution of your assets. You're going to name an executor. And you might even have some other requests. I'd like to be buried in this cemetery, or I'd like to be cremated. Although a person would need to know where your will is to actually effectuate that desire. You might want to put that into another document. I want to keep this brief. You know, I'm a lawyer. Sometimes we're not that brief. But I like to be simple and straightforward and tell you what my understanding of the law is. Not planning for pets. So this is really an issue that's near and dear to my heart, near and dear to the family, my own family, and I'm going to break it down into a couple of different videos because I could hit a few different points, and I'll give a little preview of one of them. So one of the most famous pet cases is Leona Helmsley. And Leona Helmsley, very wealthy woman, she disinherited 2 of her grandchildren and left $12 million to her dog. I'll go into that in a couple of days. So as much as, and her case was upheld, right? So that in her trust, it was upheld, and the grandchildren got a little something too, because there was a big lawsuit. The $12 million award to her puppy was reduced to $2 million. I'll go in depth in another video. So as much as we love our pets, right, and we know people, pets are part of the family, they are legally not entitled to inherit. They cannot inherit. So under the law, pets are personal property, right? So they're personal property. You don't even fight about them like in custody cases. So anyway, that's a pretty good topic I could go into, because sometimes when I was in the divorce world, we would see people arguing about the family pet. So if a person in their will left a specific bequest, I'm leaving to my dog, what's a good dog name? Rover, leaving to my dog, and I happen to have a dog and a cat. The dog is Zoe, really a beautiful chocolate lab, and I have a pet cat, Stella, and I think she's a blue something or other. Beautiful cat. I'll let you know later on what she actually is. We got her, she was born in someone's yard, but coincidentally we found that she's from a long line of beautiful cats with pointy ears. Pretty good. So you cannot leave a specific bequest to Rover. You can't say I'm going to leave Rover the sum of $5,000. So what some people do, and it's not the best approach, but they make an informal or a formal arrangement, but it can't be Well, what they do is they say, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 or $20,000. Please take care of Rover for me. It's not enforceable. There is something that can be done. We could do a trust. But the first thing might be, for today's purposes, that a pet is property. A pet cannot legally inherit, and you can't leave a bequest to a pet. And you can do it by an informal agreement or a formal agreement, but it's not enforceable, right? So we want to do something that's enforceable, and that'll be coming in a couple of days. Stick with me. 32, not planning for pets, broken down into a couple of different videos. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As always, be well, stay safe and healthy. So at the beginning of this video, I said that I filmed this straight through live. I don't edit it, and I do them every day. Right? So every single day I make a video. I don't do them, in one time, 10 videos and then batch it out. Every day. Part of my life is speaking to you, people at large. If you need to speak with me about your situation, please go to frankbrunolaw.com. Schedule an interview, read a blog post, watch a video. Any way that you can become familiar with perhaps the remedies that could address your situation. Thank you very much.
Friend, father, lawyer, call Frank.